Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tomorrow's Weather Today. Today, we have a potential system in the tropics, our third of the year. Um, Ignore those sounds in the background. Those are from Discord, but no one else is here right now. Um, Sorry I haven't been posting the past few days. I have been sick. I actually have a sore throat. Um, and I wasn't really able to talk for 10 minutes straight, so I just didn't post it all. But I am back. I should be making daily uploads now. Unless my throat really starts to bother me again, I might take a day or two off. Um, but here we have Invest 93L um, in the Atlantic, right over the uh, Yucatan Peninsula. It's about headed into the Bay of Campeche. It has an 80% chance over the next 2 to 5 days to develop um, into a tropical depression, and it will probably get up to a storm, a tropical storm at most. Looking at radar, I just wanted to look at radar really quickly out of Mexico. Um, if this loads, let's make it full screen. So we can see on radar that the low-level center is somewhere in here, I think that's a broader area of low pressure, and then there's a more consolidated area down here that's about to come off the coast into the Bay of Campeche very soon. Um, there's definitely some heavy rain. There's a lot of heavy rain on the eastern side, and there's a band on the western side too. Um, but this low-level center looks nice, and I think once this is over water, we might have a tropical depression designated later tonight, possibly when it gets out into the water. But it is going to meander down here for a while. So the problem I have with the system is that it's going to meander down here for a while, and then it might jump up to here, to north of the Yucatan Peninsula. But looking at radar or at satellite, we can see it's actually breathing very nicely. It has an upper level high right over top of it. And you can see that outflow expanding towards the north and the eastern side. Um, there's definitely some shear on the far eastern side of the system, as you can see with the tops of the clouds being blown off. Um, but looking, there's a low-level center right in here. The low-level center is right in there. There's some good thunderstorms on the eastern side. Western side isn't looking as great, but I think once this is over water, it will look much nicer. Looking at the track forecast, as I said, it's going to meander around here. You can see that it's me. If it gets a name here, um, and then stays to here, it will keep Cristobal, I think the name is, and then it looks like it's possible that it comes back over here, but it still remains. It hasn't been seen if this will actually track over Mexico, come out over here, or come back over here. Looking at the GFS ensembles, it's the last run. This is from 60, was bringing it into Louisiana. I think it has a better chance of going into Texas. Um, but all possibilities, everyone along the coast of the Gulf should be wary of this and be vigilant. The CMC is all over the place with it again. So taking a look at the 12Z GFS model, you can see it has a trough of low pressure right in here. My throat is starting to bother me, so just bear with me if I take a long pause. So you can see we have 1,003 millibars, low pressure, in the Bay of Campeche, and then it brings it over southern Mexico and just meanders around on the southern side of Mexico in the Pacific, and then it consolidates above the Yucatan and starts to move in, and it comes into into Louisiana and Texas border as a tropical storm. Looking at the 10-meter winds, we'll look right as it. So here it is a tropical storm, as it has 34 knot winds. Like I said, it's going to be a weak tropical storm at best, I think, or my guess, peak intensity would be 60 to 70 miles per hour. Can't rule out 75 miles per hour. But I think the most realistic is 50 to 60. Honestly, I think this is as high as it's going to go. Um, Depends on how much time it has over water and if it meanders around in here rather than going over and jumping back up here. Then it moves in, and then the remnant moisture. So looking at the upper dynamics with this, the 200 millibar winds, we can see that upper level high over top of it right now. Low shear, very low shear. And then we move this out. Here's our storm. There is some shear on it. If we take an area sounding, just take an area sounding like that. 31 knots of shear. That's pretty high. We do have some turning with height. You can see that hodograph is curved. If this was hodograph was for tornadoes, it would probably be pretty good, honestly. But we're not looking for tornadoes. Um, and taking ahead, the shear. So there's an upper level trough right here. You can see it. And the winds on the eastern side are going to be out of the south, which is going to lighten the shear on top of it. And this is also, once this backs downwards, the flow is going to be like this, which is going to drag it into Texas, I believe. So if we take a area sounding, looking pretty quickly, 21 knots of shear. That's still pretty high. It's lower, but that's moderate. And then we move it ahead. Here's that upper level trough. Right here, it's going to start to pivot that way. It's going to pivot the storm that way. And then this upper level ridge here builds in. And then it's inland. Looking at the 700 millibar vorticity, you can see it's a large area of spin. There's a very large area of spin right here. Then it consolidates and then moves into the Texas coast according to the GFS. Looking at the 500 millibar height anomalies, we can see our lower pressure falls. In here, big ridge, two big ridges. And then we can see our upper level lows in here. We're just going to pivot it this way. And then this ridge is also going to move it inland. So I would say, for the most part, that Texas and Louisiana have the best chances for seeing this system make landfall there. Let's just go over to the CMC. Look at this really quickly. Here's our trough. It's going to meander here. So the CMC keeps it over water. This is bouncing all around. Let's just go back to 0Z run. So same story. It's bringing it right into the Texas-Louisiana coast. Let's just look at the 10-meter winds. So at this point it is a tropical storm. Yeah, weak tropical storm at best. Moving into Texas and Louisiana. Looking at the 200 millibar winds. Just to look at this again. Here's our upper level trough. And it's going to pivot it that way. Upper level trough. And then we have a ridge here, which is going to help move it into Texas and Louisiana. Looking at the European really quickly. Oops. Let's just go European. Yeah, we're not going to see anything better than this, but just look at it for track purposes. Bringing it into southern Texas. I didn't meant to click on winds. Yeah, that's 20, 30 knots. Yeah, I would. So, and when we're looking at this, there's also going to be a threat for tornadoes on the right side. So, on this side, the front right quadrant. So, if we take this, it's moving this way. This quadrant would have the best chance to see tornadoes. I would say all around here would have the best chance to see tornadoes. Now, I've looking at this Mike's weather page, spaghettimodels.com. If we go to the shear map right now, there's some some strong shear in the Gulf, but it's lighter where the system is right now. And going back, if we look at 850 millibars vorticity, you can see that vorticity right there. And the upper level steering map, we can see as of right now, here's our storm right here. And the steering has it this way for now. Have a nice trough over the eastern United States. But yeah, sorry for my voice. I might take tomorrow off because I can't really talk for 10 minutes. Um, but we'll see. There's a severe weather threat tomorrow, so I probably will make a video just to cover that. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a new video. Comment down below what you thought of the video, and tell me if you think, or tell me what state you think will have the biggest impact from this system in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching.